and welcome back to Read or Not to Read. It may be a tale as old as time, but I can tell you that there are tons of new books and stories being produced that are retellings of Beauty and the Beast that keep it fresh and interesting. Today, I've got 10 different books to recommend to you if you love Beauty and the Beast. Here we go. First up is The Beast's Heart by Leafy Shallcross. I hope I pronounced that correct. This is a more traditional retelling. It sticks very close to the original story. What makes it interesting is the twist that it's only told from the Beast's point of view. And what I liked about it the most is that the story starts before Beauty arrives on the scene. And we get to actually experience what the Beast's life is like before this transformation takes place that's traditional to the story. Next up is The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter. The reason it's a collection of short stories, and all of them are retellings of famous fairy tales. So there's a retelling of the story of Bluebeard, there's Beauty and the Beast, and there's two in here that are like retellings of the Beauty and the Beast story. One is The Courtship of Mr. Lion, which is a much more traditional retelling, and the other one is The Tiger's Bride. It comes right on the heels of The Courtship of Mr. Lion, and it's retold with a really interesting twist at the end. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but if you are looking for something a little shorter, and I think especially if you're a fan of Neil Gaiman's writing, I think you're really going to find a lot to like in Angela Carter's collection of stories. Next up, Hunted by Megan Spooner. This one's kind of interesting. It has a kind of Russian folklore twist to it. That's kind of the world it's set in. It does have an alternating point of view. You have shorter sections that are from the point of view of the Beast, and you can actually see the Beast's transformation and change over the course of the story. It's very effectively done, and it's definitely got a much more fairy tale kind of feel to it with the way it's been set up. This one's pretty interesting if you're looking for something with a little bit of a cultural twist on it. Next up, Uprooted by Naomi Novik. This is also a retelling that kind of leans a little bit further into Slavic or Russian cultural folklore for its setting. It features a determined heroine. We have a wizard, and they're both going to team up to fight the menacing wood that threatens the village. Next up is Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston. This is a modern retelling featuring an updated heroine who is a cosplaying sci-fi fan. Our Beast is going to be a spoiled Hollywood actor who happens to be the star of her favorite sci-fi series. We have a small town, a quirky mansion, and a fun troublemaking dog. And I bet, since I'm not holding the book up, you thought I was going to leave out A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. You would be wrong. That one, of course, is considered a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. It's been a huge bestseller, and it stars a teenage heroine who is a huntress. She actually kills a wolf in the woods. A beastly creature comes to exact retribution for that, and she is whisked away to a fairyland where she's got to help break a curse. That is a very, very short description of everything goes on with it, but if you're looking for Beauty and the Beast retelling with a lot more of a fairy lore, that one's going to be something you're interested in. And of course, it is the first in her series. Next up is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kimmerer. This one is a little interesting. It has a twist that it's a modern heroine who is going to be pulled into an other world by a cursed prince or by his assistant. And they will together help to erase this curse because it is the prince's last chance to lift the curse. So this one is in-house if you're looking for it. Next up is Cruel Beauty by Rosamund Hodge. And the first line in this book reads, "I was raised to marry a monster." And that tells you a lot about what our heroine thinks about her future to be betrothed to the creature that has been responsible for a curse on her village and her people for over 900 years. It features a very determined heroine who is set to kill this creature that she's going to be marrying. You have an unexpectedly charming hero in our Beast, if you will. But I think one of the things I loved the most about this when I read it quite some time ago was the setting. They're going to be living in a very magical castle where rooms shift constantly. all kinds of strange things happen within this building. And for me, that was a kind of charming element of this story. So I think if you're looking for something, again, with a little bit more of a fairy tale kind of setting to it, this one might be for you. Next up is In the Vanisher's Palace by Aliette de Bodard. This is an adult fantasy. It is a shorter novel, but what makes it interesting from the outset is that it is based in Vietnamese culture. We have two females in our love story, and the beast is going to be a dragon. And last but not least, and I don't have it on hand right now, but I do want to recommend it for those of you who are historical romance fans. Eloisa James is not going to be a new name to you if you already read historical romance, but even if you do know her name, you might want to give a try to her title, When Beauty Tamed the Beast. We've got a very bad-tempered Earl who is also a doctor, and he's going to match wits with a young heroine who is set to be married to him, and she is determined within 2 weeks she will charm him into loving her. We'll see how that goes. With that, you have got 10 new titles to add to your reading list. Pick and choose where you like. All of these are going to be available on the shelf. You can place a hold request, or you can actually check for them in our digital library. Till next time, happy reading. Goodbye now.